I want to tell you something this morning. As I was doing my personal development, I came into like a revelation. You know, we are all so stuck on the problems that happen to us. We're also stuck on the fact that we can't do something because our circumstance doesn't permit it. But in all reality, in all actuality, it is the belief that you can do it. You don't want to fake it, right? You don't want to say, yes, I believe, and in all reality, you don't believe at all. So what are the things that you could do to allow your belief to be true? You know, one thing I learned is you have to make small goals that are reachable, or small goals that you can just do. Something that you never thought that you can do, and just do. And once you see that you actually did it, and that it wasn't as bad as you thought, or even if it was, torturous, it wasn't something that you say, oh my God, I will never do that again. It was something that it's like, yeah, it was a little painful to do. It took a little bit out of me, but I got it done, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. Guys, the belief is what births greatness. And we all have greatness. So I want to tell you, right, my story. Some of you may know, but I got pregnant when I was 18 years old. The person that I procreated with, we were not necessarily in a relationship. He was 10 years older than me. I was fresh out of high school. It was a circumstance that it's like, I wasn't thinking. I was being, my regular teenage self. And, the consequences were that of having to give up my youth for the consequences of my actions. And all in all, I look back and it's like, God's timing is perfect. God doesn't give you something for no reason. If my firstborn was not born, I don't really know what my life would be like, because at that point in time, I was being really, really reckless. So it's like, if that didn't give me a hard stop, what would be my life for today? And then to add the cherry on top, I didn't necessarily learn my full lesson. And then I got pregnant again, this time by somebody else. And, I tell this story because I know I'm not the only one. I tell this story because it's the circumstance that I had at the time. And then, 21 years old now, a mother of two with two different men, and by myself necessarily, not sleeping nights on my own, having to take care of two babies under two on my own, financially struggling because neither person was doing anything for us financially. So it's like, I was in rock bottom of rock bottom. And to be honest, looking back, your community is everything. Your people are everything. Even though they made me feel like I have committed the worst of the worst. Even though they helped me, but they sure made me aware that I committed the most terrible sin, and I wasn't gonna live a day without being reminded of that. And so that pain, and now I see this and this is what, 12 years later. My oldest will be 12 now. It's like 12 years later, I see it. It's like, pain is the greatest motivator. Guys, pain is the greatest motivator. We want to run from pain so bad because it hurts and we don't want to feel it. We don't want to deal with it. But guys, pain is the greatest motivator, because if everything's dandy and everything's great, why would you change? Because everything's going so great, At that time, I felt like, oh my gosh, I cannot depend on anybody anymore. I don't want to. But what can I do? What can I do? Like, the best job that I can get right now at the place that I'm at is at the mall. Just at the mall. And at the time they were paying maybe minimum wage was about $8 an hour, I would never be able to pay a rent on my own with that type of income. Forget rent, like just covering basic needs wasn't gonna be enough with $8 an hour, And so God puts the right people in your path when you need it the most. And that, remember, they're not there forever. And that's another thing. We get so attached to people and we think they're going to be here forever. And it's like, no. If they show up in your life and they make you feel great, they're there for a short time. And if they're there for longer, great. Enjoy it, embrace it. But let's stop getting attached to people that change our lives in such a great way and think they're going to be in our life forever, because it's not always like that. So the person that sparked, and I always tell this story, the person that sparked that idea in me was a coworker I had at the time. She was married, she had a child, and she was actually a year younger than me. And I saw her going on the computer, and she was searching for schools and stuff like that. And I looked at her, I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, oh, I'm looking at the school curriculum because I want to sign up. And I thought to myself, like, you're a mom, you can go to school? And she said to me, well, yeah, I can't stay here forever, I gotta do something, and that sparked something in me. And it's like, whoa, hold on, she doesn't live at home, she lives with her husband. They're both, I don't know, 21, they have a child, and she's not stopping there. Like, she's not, everybody was telling me that my life was over, everybody was telling me that this was it. And to have somebody a little younger than me not stopping at that, because I'm sure they were telling her the same things, she wasn't stopping there. And that kind of like sparked an idea in me. I'm like, oh my God, I could do it too, why not? So I went ahead and I started looking, and I saw everything that I needed to do, and I said, okay, this is gonna take a while, but I'm okay with that, because it's the process. Like, I won't be able to go to school the way everybody else does, full time and fully committed, because I now have kids. I have people that depend on me. So I'm going to take my time with this and do it gracefully. I'm not going to let anybody or anything rush me. And I'm going to be 100% transparent. There were times in my journey of schooling that I would see my peers, graduating with their bachelors and doing all of these things. And there were times where I felt like, oh my God, I'm so behind. But then something in me would remind me, it's like, no, my story is a little different. I did it backwards, but regardless, I'm doing it. My kids are already here. If I don't want to have any more kids, I don't necessarily have to, because I already have two. Now it's just about making sure that I establish a way of living, establish a way for us to defend ourselves, to survive, and then move forward. So I always told myself, in my 30s, I'm going to be enjoying life. And guys, guess what? My oldest is going to be 12. My youngest is 10. I'm not necessarily out and about. I'm not necessarily outside because they still need me. But listen, don't feel bad about how your story goes. Don't think that your story needs to go a certain way. Society has a way of saying, this is how it needs to be done. This is how you got to do it. And if you don't do it this way, you fucked it up forever. And that's not it. It's not it. I'm still learning this, but for the most part, you just got to believe that you can do it. And sometimes it takes a certain person or a certain circumstance to birth that idea and that belief. But, so I would study because I saw no way out. It's like, this has to work or it has to work. There is no plan B. So if I know to get into the nursing program, I have to have straight A's and B's, no C's, then that's what it's going to require. And I would work 8 hours, 9 to 5, and then go to school right after, and then have to study on the weekends and do, like, listen, I made do and still somehow had a social life. I don't know how that happened, but, so ideas, right? And the belief that you can get it done and that your circumstance is not the end all be all. You create your environment. Out of the environment that you're in, you can create something better. A lot of people, I talk to a lot of people every day, and the limiting beliefs that society and our family members and our everyday plant in us is something that it's like, oh my God, well, we have to unlearn this, guys. We have to unlearn this. You create your environment. Your mind is your environment. You know, books have changed my life. Anytime I found myself in a situation that I just couldn't see a way out, I always knew somehow that a book was going to change my feeling about what I'm going through. And if I change my feeling on what I'm going through, I can create or come up with, ideas or use my imagination to get myself out of the circumstance. And that's the key. That is the key. You have to change your feeling, create clarity so that you will be able to get the ideas and the answers that will take you to your next level. That's imperative. That's in any situation. So, everybody would see me doing the things that I were doing, and they would always tell me, like, I don't know how you do it. And it's like, you ever heard this saying, you need to want it as bad as you want to breathe? Like, that's exactly what it is. I said, I need this to happen. Like, there's no other way. I need this to happen. So it took me, I think, 8 years. 8 years to just get a 2-year associate's degree in nursing. And then an extra year or 2 to get my bachelor's. But listen, I got it. And at the end of the day, the degrees have only allowed me to stay in a place where I can survive, right? But now I can survive, and I can survive by myself. Thank God. Thank God. But now it's a new level. And this is life, guys. Just because you reach a goal doesn't mean that it ends there, because now it's like, all right, now what's next? And that brings me to the next point. Any milestone that I reached and anything that I succeeded that most people would look at and say, damn, I can't do that. Like, I never celebrated myself because I always knew that there was a next level. I'm now learning that it's important to celebrate, because then you just feel like you're just hitting milestones and doing things and you never feel proud about it. That's one thing I'm learning now as we speak. I have to start feeling proud for the accomplishments that I have done, despite my circumstance. I know I'm not the only one that has done it, guys. I know. But I'm just telling you my story in hopes to let you know it can be done if you just believe. If you just believe that it can be done, it will be done. So yeah, I remember I would pass tests and I would pass this and I would get my first degree and I would do all these things, and I never felt, I was happy because I got it done, but it was more off of survival. It wasn't ever more off of, oh, I accomplished this. It was like, oh, I survived that. All right, let's go. Like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And that kind of created who I am. And I'm trying to learn now how to be graceful and how to be more present and how to really enjoy the fruits of my labor, even though I know there's more to come. But as I would like to say, I don't really know if it's necessarily healthy to always hit tasks and hit goals and go for force and, see no way out and always be on survival mode and not really enjoy life. But the point of this message was to encourage you, as I still encourage myself daily, that with belief. First you gotta believe, but not just believe, because believing and writing it down and think that it's just gonna come to you, that's not it. You have to wholeheartedly believe. You have to wholeheartedly have faith in the things that you think and the things that you want and the things that you're moving towards. But you also have to put a plan in place. A plan in place of how I'm going to do this. This is what I want. I truly believe that I can get it done. I truly wholeheartedly believe that I have what it takes to get this done. Right? I believe this. I believe this with every ounce of me. I believe this. So how can I achieve it? Now that's the key. How can I get this done? How can I do it? So, For nursing for me, it was start here. I had to start freaking high school level English and math, because when I went to take my placement test, I wasn't fully committed, and I just did it to do it. Initially, a few years before that, and I never knew that I could retake it now when I was more serious. So I went in and I had to take basic classes again, but I said, okay, this is going to take me longer if I continue here, so how can I accelerate this? So I found out that there was boot camps and things I can do over the summer that would accelerate my course. And that's the thing. Put the plan. You don't have to have it all figured out right away. And that's another thing, because we want everything to be perfect because we don't want to fail. Right? But it's not about perfection. And that's, oh my God, that's another thing. I am such a perfectionist, and I'm learning. But I was way worse of a perfectionist. My OCD just wanted everything to fall right into place. And it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Perfection is the enemy of progress. Because you don't get started because you don't think you have it all together to get it started. Because you want it to be perfect. It's not like that. Just start. I started one class and it's like, ooh, this is going to happen. What else can I do? Or I took a boot camp. I accelerated. Okay, what else can I do? Perfection is the enemy of progress. Guys, I'm so passionate about the things that I talk to you about, and some of you may not get it right now, and I totally understand that. Some of you may not align with everything that I'm saying, and I'm okay with that. This is for the person that is ready to hear it today, and this is for the person that may be ready to hear it someday, because the seeds are planted. The seeds are planted in your mind. You know now that this is something that is available to you. I may not have the total belief right now, because there's still things I need to heal from. There's still things that I need to work on myself in order to put myself in a position where I can believe in myself, where I can trust myself with what I'm saying, with what I'm thinking, with the plans I have in place. And I understand that. I was talking a lot on Instagram before, and I realized, I said, you know what? I gotta go to YouTube, because this is gonna be here forever. I will get to see my growth. I will get to see my progress. I needed a more stable platform. And honestly, the person that comes to my YouTube is because they're seeking the things that I have to say. They're seeking the things that I am learning. And they align with me. And that's what I'm looking for now. I'm looking for alignment. I'm aligning with my purpose. And therefore, I'm attracting the people that align with the things that I believe. So if you're here, I thank you. If you've even gotten to this part of this message, I thank you wholeheartedly. And I truly, truly, truly pray that you stick with me. I truly, truly pray that you put into action the things that I'm saying. Because I'm not telling you this. Yes, I hear it, but I've lived it and I continue to live it. And I'm so far into my truth. I want you to do the same thing. Like, I'm not perfect, and it's just what I'm saying, but I'm getting started. I don't have it all figured out, but I have a plan in place. And the plan, I know, will come with some pivots, and I'm ready for it. I'm prepared for whatever. Guys, preparation. And I learned this today. You got to prepare for the worst possible outcome. Eric Thomas today, in the message that I heard from him, he said that when you go to war, when you train for the army, they don't teach you. The first thing that they teach you is how to protect yourself when a gun is like locked in place or something like that, and how to carry a dead body. And it's like, because he said they prepare you for the worst case scenario. And that's it, guys. Like, I am learning to prepare for the worst case scenario. And I'm not telling you that I'm not believing. And I'm not telling you that I don't have faith in what I'm saying. And I'm not telling you that I don't believe in a bigger purpose. No, I believe in all of it. And I know that when I put my mind to it, it's going to happen. And it can happen for you too. I know that. But this is life. And I'm a diamond. And you are a diamond. And diamonds are made under pressure, under heat, and then you get cut. then you get cut. Pressure and heat. So I'm preparing for the pressure and the heat because I know it's not going to be beautiful. It's going to get ugly. And I'm ready. I'm ready for the ugly. I'm ready for the imperfections. I'm ready for it. I'm ready. This is my war. I am ready, and so should you. So should you. When I talk about me, I'm not talking about me because I'm self-centered. I'm talking about me because I want you to know that I'm not just talking because I want to be a teacher. I'm talking because I'm living through some shit, guys, that I want you to know I'm going through this and this is my thought process. And if I'm thinking like this, I want you to think, because you can think your way into anything. If you're in a terrible situation right now, you thought your way there, believe it or not. You may think to yourself, like, why the fuck would I think myself here? And I understand that. But if you do some inner work, you will realize you thought yourself to that point. Some way, somehow. That's why I'm being very, very selective about my thoughts. And it's hard. I'm not saying it's easy. It's hard because we're human and we see things and we become emotional. That's another thing. I am really trying to get a hold of my emotions. I've done so well. But things happen in life that make you emotional and don't allow you to have full clarity. And so you react on the clouded judgment. Just recently, I was reacting out of clouded judgment, like I just couldn't believe. And now, last night, I was journaling and I'm laughing at myself. I'm like, oh, what a dumbass. What a dumbass. I cannot believe I said the things I said. I cannot believe I was thinking the way I was thinking, knowing the things that I know. But guys, I'm human. And it's a journey. You're going to have ups. You're going to have downs. Anyway, this message is long enough. If you made it this far, please share if this has helped you. Share this with somebody. Subscribe to the channel. Like this video. Because as I needed this message, you needed this message. And as you needed this message, somebody else is going to need it. I love y'all. Thank you for sticking with me.